This video is about 2 practical constructions for dividing a circle into 5 and into 10, and then one which is called a rusty compass construction. Not very practical, but it's really fun to do. And all of these constructions I got from these 2 books. So this one has in it this rusty compass construction and the first way, and this book has in it these 2 constructions. Now, what I did in terms of equipment was I consistently used my transparent ruler, had my eraser to hand. For the first one, I used 2mm leads and did it all in pencil, and it was about the technique of how you draw accurately with pencil. The second one I upgraded to a mechanical pencil, but also introduced a pen because I had a pen holder, and the last one's done entirely in pen. For this one I have another video which is done on a flip chart, nice and clear. Hopefully this will be a practical way for you to get to know and use the tips and tricks to use your kit. Okay, let's get started. I am ready with my transparent ruler, my vintage compass with 2mm lead, and I've wedged it and it's got a shouldered point. I've got my clutch pencil with, again, a sharpened, for this time to a point, 2mm lead, and it's a hard lead. I've got my sharpener and my emery board a little bit far away actually because it's messy, as well as a zero eraser in case of any mistakes. I'm also leaning, as per usual, on cardboard so that if I do make holes, that there's something for it to kind of stick into. So I want to show the value in using pencil. It might be a lead or it might be a mechanical pencil, but in drawing in pencil, there's some advantages. So you can watch this on number 13, 3 ways to draw a 10-fold rosette. And it's on a flip chart with me yapping away. So nice and bold. So therefore this might be a bit invisible, but it's more about the technique. So the first thing I did was gently draw a line and then mark it. And this is a hard lead, so it's 2H or 3H. And not only is it super sharp, not only is it hard, but I'm pressing gently, so maintaining that sharpness. There's no need for somebody to be able to see your pencil lines from the other side of the world. Everything is so exaggerated in my... Okay, stop. All right. So the other thing is guide your point down. And don't press too hard with this either. Because say you don't guide it down exactly, you've made a hole then. And then it will stick in that hole, even if the hole's just a bit to its left and to its right. Everything is a gentle, careful maneuver. And try to do it once correctly, rather than not check and then have to do it a few times. The good thing about using a pencil is you can seek out the point and actually create a tiny indentation and then push your ruler against it so that it actually hits through that point. And then not only can you see that it goes through the point, you can feel it does as well, and sometimes you can hear it. Now the point I was actually after was this one, and opening up my compass to 3/4. So let's put it on the left hand side, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Notice that when I'm making it a bit bigger, I'm not leaving in the hole and then rolling it. I'm kind of lifting it out of the hole and then rolling it, because I don't want that hole to get any bigger unnecessarily. So if you keep using the hole again and again and again, pressing firmly, you kind of might end up with it getting ruined. So these 3 line up, and again, pressing carefully on the intersection, and then at the top, pushing my ruler against it, checking that they will go through, and I can see it's going to go through the center. And then when I draw this construction, you're going to firstly find this feel it go through all 3 points. And I want my compass point to not only visually go through it, but then physically go into this little indentation. So it's going to go from here to here. I'm going to roll it down a little bit and then check. Did I make it bigger? Okay. And then when I'm happy, I can see that it's going through and feel it, then I'll take it down here. So measure it here, mark it here. And now this is the next distance we need to open up our compass to. So again, I need a point for it to seek and fall into. And if I'm happy with that, I'm holding it here so I'm not pressing too hard and keeping it kind of steady. I can feel it, I can hear it, and then I'm going to swing it to the left and swing it to the right. And then this is the bit where you will see whether it's accurate or not. And depending on your mindset, you either power on through or you start again. Tiny little gap, and you'll see that gap and it's small. I would carry on. And the thing is, doing a tenfold division is very much a self-correcting drawing somehow. So later on, things sort themselves out. It's very unlikely with that inaccuracy, I will then go on to draw something terrible. It needs to be a bit bigger for me to go on to do something terrible. Now I stepped this round starting at 12 o'clock. Okay, now if I did the same from 6 o'clock and do it carefully, I can then get all 10 divisions. And then I'll have a second moment of joy or pain, knowing that it will it hit it? Oh, it hit it exactly this time. It's really fascinating. It's literally your human error that is going to be accumulated here. So your eyesight and the sharpness of your bits makes all the difference. So let's just number what we've got. So we'll start with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 intersections. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect them from one through the center to the other. So this one's already done. So this line, make sure you use the right point. It needs to go through 6, the center, and this. Now when you're lining up 3 points, it's actually a good way of checking if one of them is out of line. But this one, they weren't all out of line, they all went through it. If you have 2 points, then you're just assuming they're both correct. But 3 points, they all verify each other. And if one is out, then the other 2 will kind of give that away. So 2 needs to go to the center and hit 7. And I think it might not hit it. Let's see. In fact, it didn't even go through the center. What kind of tomfoolery is this? Okay, all right. I'm going to be entirely human and show you what I do when I make boo-boos like this. So, if you put your ruler right against the line that you've made a mistake with and use something like a 0 eraser, or if you've got a mechanical one, it's usually the eraser at the bottom. You can just use that to be very precise in your erasing. So the other joy of working in pencil is the fact that you can raise things. So I'm going to try that again and see if I can actually get them to go through. It's not going through. I want it to go through the center. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, so that's that one. Oh, that one did. I felt it. I wonder if you can hear it. Oh, make sure you do this. Be careful not to use these rogue points. It's a classic error. Just about. So there we have it. Dividing a circle into 10 using a 2mm lead or working in pencil. Definitely some advantages for you when you do this yourself. Apologies if you can't see it brightly and clearly, but there's a whole nother video on that. Okay, this time I'm going to use my compass, which has a pen attachment, and it's a modern compass. So if you look at the design, you can probably find it for different brands. This one is a Jacka, and it's got a Stapler pen holder and the original compass point. And I've put in there a Pentel 0.3mm 0.3mm lead. You can find them in different thicknesses, the mechanical pencils, and I've got 0.3 through to 0.9, but I tend for my drawings to use 0.3. I also didn't use the HB lead it came with. I bought separate leads, so these are both 0.3, different brands, and this is 2H and 4H, which makes them super brittle, so you have to be even more careful and just be very gentle with every maneuver so it doesn't snap every 3 seconds. I have a nice pot of all of these. I've got my eraser just in case, my transparent ruler, which I always use, and then in the end I will outline it with a fine liner pen, seeing as I'm drawing in 0.3, probably 0.5. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we'll begin with our horizontal line in the middle, and again, gently done. Now, I do love mechanical pencils. For all the joy and love of all the other things, the consistency you get with this, because it's always the same thickness, is immense. And it's probably my favorite way. But you know how it goes. You've got to talk about them all, isn't it? Okay, so carefully placing at the center. Again, a gentle and a light touch. And this construction, it starts off the same and then it goes off in its own little direction. And we're going to mark on the right hand side, top and bottom, and the same on the left hand side. Okay, so opening up to 3/4. Let's see if this will be fine. Yeah, do an arc above and below, and then do the same on the other side. And then we're going to actually mark one full vertical and then 2 points that actually divide the whole line into quarters, 4 parts. So let's do them left to right. Again, making sure we can see that it's hitting the point that it needs to. So that's one mark. This will be the full mark. And this will be the last mark. I noticed something about myself. If you look right now at the page, some lines are light and some are dark, and I notice the pressure that I'm applying is sometimes a little bit different, and I notice other people, the pressure they apply is consistent. So if you can develop that and always have the same darkness of line, and then each layer may be getting even darker, that's a huge benefit. Okay, so now what we need to do is open up and check that we're going to open up our radius to this distance, and it's the same. So if I check it here and here, then I'll draw them. Why did I say here? When I was a teacher, the kids used to say, "Miss, you can't say chair, hair, and ear." And they had to teach me how to say these words because I didn't go up and down in my voice. So I'd say ear. And they're like, "No, miss, that's AIR, not EAR." Entertaining stories while I measure. You can imagine I have a script. No, I don't have a script. Okay, so I've got the distance and now I'm going to draw the circles. I have to avoid hitting the camera, so hence slowing down bits. Okay, that was a good fit actually, nice. So now we need to mark the distance from over this point to this point where it hits the circle. So you can find it in one place, in two places, so there and there, imagine them, and then 3 and 4 places. So you could just draw one line, or you could draw all 4 lines. Now, because I want to show you the maximum approach, I'm going to draw all 4. So we actually only need this point, but I'm going to draw 2 dashes above and below. So what I'm going to do is now open up my compass. So it's this distance, which is the same as this distance, and this distance, and this distance. And when you get that, that is 1/10 of the circumference. So you kind of bypassed the 1/5 part and gone straight to the 1/10 part. So let me check it carefully. And there's 4 verification points. So far so good. Let's check on this side, and hopefully, ooh, she's only gone and done it. I think my circles are going to be touching each other beautifully. Okay, so what have we got? We've got 1/10 there, and another 10th, and another 10th, and another 10th. So we need 2 more marks here and 2 more marks here. So you can step this over here. And by way of being a checking maneuver, you can step it all the way to the top and see if it is going to land on itself. Not bad, not the best, but not bad. And so that was a little bit short. Let's see if I can, just by the placement of it, counteract that. Let's see the last one. Will it hit? Oh, delightful. Now, I don't think I usually like this method, but I'm loving it today. So this is 10. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's happened? Oh, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can you believe? I used to be a maths teacher. Okay. All right, we're going to put in the lines just for fun, and I'm going to do them in pen. Okay, so 10 to 5 is done. Let's do the other 4. And this is the thing. Now, if you've got a fine pen and it's not too inky, then you can draw without it kind of leaking. But as soon as you've got a leaky, inky pen, then potentially it might blob. And there we have it, 10 divisions. Am I a convert today? Because I did that really accurately, and I never used to draw it like this. So, method 2, nice. This final construction is just for fun. It's from Ruler and Compass by Andrew Sutton, and jam-packed book full of constructions, and we're doing construction 171 in a chapter called Rusty Compass. The concept is something that Abu al-Wafa had come up with, that with one fixed radius, so one circle, you can draw many constructions. And this particular one that we're going to do for a regular pentagon is by Kurt Hofstetter, but the concept we can attribute to him. Now, in the book, there's all these very detailed instructions that when I've shared this on Instagram, people said to me they don't understand, and I was like, what? It's so logical. So I've written them out here, and I'll take you through them step by step. So there's only 5 steps in this, and the first instruction is what you draw, and then the bracket is the outcome. So when we do arc center A on a line, we'll get B, and when we do arc center B, we'll get line CED, and so on. So let's start with a line first. And from the drawing, so I'll refer to this so I know which side things are. We're going to start on A, so we're going to draw an arc. So we did it from a point A, just randomly on the line, and we got the outcome that creates this intersection B. So that's step 1 done. Arc center B, line CED. So if we draw the arc as it shows in the drawing, it's almost a full circle. It goes through A, and it's like that much, and then it says the outcome is CED, which from the drawing I can see C is here, D is labeled here. So if I join them, then this is E. So that's step 2 done. Step 3, arc center E, line FGD. So we're going to put the compass here, and from the drawing I can see FGD is just one small little arc at the top. So it tells me this is F, G will be here somewhere, shall I just label it? And then D is one that we've used already. Okay, so now we've done step 3, and then arc center G and H and I. So it's after 2 intersections. And when you look at the drawing, the completed one, you can see that H is on the original line and I is in the bottom left-hand corner. So as long as I hit those 2, H is here and then I is over here. Perfect. And then it's final step, arc center H and complete. So arc over here and complete. If you look at the arc, it draws one little intersection at the top, almost goes through, and then stops at the bottom there. So that point isn't labeled, nor is that point, but we have everything we need right now. This is the top of the pentagon, the left and the right of the pentagon, and one of the corners is I, and the last corner is this one. So then we can outline it. So it's very clever, but slightly impractical because I don't know where the center is. I can draw some additional things to find the center, and perhaps if all of these markings were done minimally, it becomes really practical and useful. But as it is, it's just an enjoyable thing to do. So there we have it, a rusty compass construction. So just one radius used how many times? 5 times, and you're done.